Welcome back. We do apologize for that technical difficulty. However, we will continue with your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio. GRA for the period January 2016 to May 2020 granted a whopping 422 billion in tax exemptions. The waivers were granted to diplomatics, hospitals, remigrants, companies, foreign fund projects, public officials, and churches and charitable organizations, and ministries or government departments. The category with the most tax exemption for the period highlight was companies and businesses. What should be noted too that the exemptions for 2019 waivers total 181.2 billion, making it 4 times more than what was granted in 2016. Morning Newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio. We tell you now that with regards to Guyana's energy woes, the only consensus is that it poses an impediment to the country's economic and development ambitions. Unfortunately, governments come and go without at least offering a sound plan to remove this impediment. What the nation has been given are a branch of ideas and projections, some of which contradicts the other. This begs the question, are politicians feeling their way in the dark? The coalition made a commitment under the Paris Agreement on Climate Change to become 100% reliant on renewable energy by 2025. However, even if the coalition had retained power, there was no way the 2025 target could have been achieved. A few days later, not much has changed, and there is still no definite guiding light for the way forward, even as the PPPC is pushing a new mix that will see renewable forms of energy playing a major role. The Guyana Motor Racing and Sports Club, GMR&SC, located in Thomas Land, Georgetown, has been ordered by the National COVID-19 Task Force to shut its door for 1 month. According to a member of the task force, GMR&SC's operation was suspended from March 30th to April 30th because it breached the COVID-19 regulations by hosting a large gathering on March 29th. That gathering was the funeral service of the slain gold dealer Ricardo Fagundes, better known as Paper Shorts. Fagundes, a member of GMR&SC, was gunned down on March 21 in front of Palm Court by 2 men who emerged from a white Toyota Fielder wagon. The body of a 21-month-old infant was yesterday found dead in a drain at Parika Backdam. His mother, 18-year-old, was arrested and has since claimed that she had left him close to that drain and went to beg for food at a nearby friend because he was hungry. According to a police report, the infant's body was found just around 19 hours. After being questioned about the whereabouts of her child, the teen ran into a nearby canal. The police was then called in to deal with the situation. After being taken out of the canal, the law enforcement official then instructed the teen to locate the child, who was left unattended. Upon arriving at the location, the police were greeted with the sight of motionless infant submerged in the drain. The City Constab Department of the Georgetown Mayor and City Council will be beefing up efforts to ensure that citizens comply with the COVID-19 guideline to wear face masks while out in public. Earlier this week, the Constab met and announced that they'll be reinforcing the $5,000 fine on any persons found around the city violating the mask-wearing rule. The Constab is expected to join forces with the Guyana Police Force to conduct walkabouts in key areas of the city, including Regent Street, Robb Street, and North Road. Pursuit of the gas ashore project in Guyana is being touted as likely way to reduce the cost of the generation of electricity in the country. But the development of such a project with a pipeline from the Stabroek block slated to be landed at Wales on the west bank of Demerara must be done in a clear and transparent manner. This would entail decision being taken on the project with regards to feasibility and alternatives and implications being laid bare in the public domain first. according to US-based Guyanese Professor Terence Blankman. He is the head of mathematics department in the college in New York, USA. Stay with us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. When we come back, we'll bring to you page 7 of the Kaieteur News this morning that is dedicated of being blunt. Seven of the Kaieteur News this morning that is dedicated to being blunt. The APNU AFC opposition has to stop operating as if it has a split personality. On one hand, it claims that the current legitimate elected government was illegitimately installed by a process supported by the US, CARICOM, and other international players, all of whom mere condemned the Granger administration attempt to rig the elections. In the same breath, it then goes to these same countries to complain that the government is not treating it as a legitimate opposition. And the same coalition, whose leader David Granger has been hiding from the media for months, is complaining that to the foreign governments that the media is not carrying its messages. You can read that on page 7 of the Kaieteur News this morning. Of course, daily we provide that page and dedicate that page rather of being blunt. And that just about wrap things up here on your news package for this morning. Let's remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. I'm Joshua Van Sleckman. Thank you for joining us. Reminding you to join us at 11 hours for a rebroadcast of the Glenn Lal Show titled Harman begging U.S. to ferry their message to Washington, D.C. while hiding from the local media. Guyana's GDP growth means nothing for us. You can listen to that at 11 a.m. this morning right here on Kaieteur Radio. All right, have a great remainder of your day, reminding you to practice social distancing, wear your face mask, and of course to practice all the COVID-19 guidelines. Kevin Smith comes up next with a recap of the weekend review, whereby we recap all the top stories you carried over the past week. Don't you touch that dial.